Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to share my screen so that I can give you some visuals as well, but I also sent two documents to Sloan that he can distribute to you guys, so you don't really need to take notes. Those documents will have a kind of a summary of what I'm going to talk about and all the information I think you need from this. So let me share my screen and show my slides. Okay, so yeah, I'm Boots Quimby. I'm the Associate Director in the Office for Undergraduate Research. My office normally is in Steele Building. Right now, it's at home. So, and just kind of tell you our mission, what the goal of our office is to facilitate and enrich undergraduate research opportunities at Carolina. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we do that and some of the programs that you might be interested in getting involved in, whether you want to get into research or you're already involved in research. So I just kind of want to start out, especially for those of you that maybe are not even thinking about doing research, to talk a little bit about the advantages of doing research as an undergrad. And there's lots of research that's been done on the effects of doing research on undergraduates. And these are just some of the results. And I will say that all of these are correlations and not causation. So most of these, they look at students who do research and students who don't research, and they either do surveys and ask them questions, or they do things like look at their GPA and retention. So one of the advantages of doing research is that the students who do research as undergrads have higher rates of retention and persistence to graduation. So they stay in school and they usually graduate within 4 years, if not sooner. Students that do research in undergraduate have higher GPAs. They report, and this is self-reporting of students compared to those who do not, they report increased student satisfaction. They're more satisfied with their experience in undergrad, and there's lots of reasons we could talk about why that might be. There are increased rates of acceptance to graduate and professional schools, and probably the most obvious reason that is that if you are doing research with a faculty, you're going to get a very good recommendation for graduate and professional schools, but also you have experience that you can talk about. And then there's increased self-confidence. When you're doing research and you have it and it works and you are creating new knowledge, that's going to increase and boost your self-confidence. And there are many, many other positive outcomes. That's just a sample of the types of things that have been shown through the research and looking at students who do undergraduate research. So I'll start with how can you get started? And we kind of have this framework in our office of learn, connect, and engage. And I'm going to go through each of these and tell you some of the programs and some of the things that we offer to help you in each of these stages of getting started and getting involved in research. So learn. The most common way that students learn is through taking a course, but you're also learning about a lot of these things through this presentation that I'm doing for your student group. But there are over 1,000 research courses taught each year at UNC, and they fall into three main categories: research methods, research exposure, and research intensive. Research methods is where you just kind of learn about the methods in the field in that area of your course. Research exposure is there's at least one research activity in the course where you're creating new knowledge, where you're truly doing research and creating new knowledge. And then research intensive, at least 50% of the course has to be where you're doing true research. Another way to learn about opportunities is to browse our website. I'll give that information at the end, and it's going to be on the handouts as well. But we have lots of information on our website where you can learn about what research looks like, you can learn about what other people are doing in research, and you can learn about the various programs that we offer. We also have a database of research opportunities. And it is a good place. You can go in there, it's searchable, you can search whatever area you're interested in and it'll pop up. The way this is populated is faculty complete a form and they post opportunities there. And this is a great place to start looking and kind of explore what undergraduate research looks like in your field. I will tell you that the majority of faculty do not post in our database of research opportunities, even though I strongly encourage them to, but they don't need to because so many students reach out to them. But it's a good place to explore and see what research looks like in your field. And I will tell you that every year I have 2 or 3 students that tell me that they found their research opportunities through our database of research opportunities. And then, go to department websites and start, surfing the websites and see what professors and graduate students are doing in the department in your area of interest. And that's a great way to kind of start exploring and learning and figuring out what kind of research you want to do. If you're in this club, you're interested in cancer, but there's lots of different kinds of cancer research. Do you really want to do basic research? Do you want to do research that's more patient-oriented, more applied? And you can surf the websites. And I'm going to tell you specifically for you, because most of you, I'm sure, are biology and chemistry majors if you're in the cancer medicine. There is the biological and biomedical sciences program, and this is where all kinds of faculty, you can find all kinds of faculty, both in the med school, in Gillings Public Health, in biology and chemistry. They're all in here, and it's a great place to research and identify faculty you might be interested, or figure out what you're interested in. And you can see that there are lists. So if you're interested in drug delivery, then you can click on that and it'll tell you the faculty that are working in that. Or if you're interested in biophysics, you can click on that. So this is a great resource for finding faculty that are doing research in an area that you may already know that you want to do research in, or just kind of looking and say, well, I don't know, what is biophysics? What kind of research is done in biophysics? Let me, explore and see what the faculty are doing in biophysics. So this is a good resource for you guys to kind of learn and figure out what you want to research and who you might want to work with. The next step is to connect. And so one of the things, we have lots of ways for you to connect with us through our office and people at the university. We have, in the undergraduate school, we don't have these in the professional school, so we don't have them in the medical school, but we pay faculty a small stipend. We have 1 faculty in each department, and they can help you. Let's say you're interested in cancer med, but you're really interested in more computer modeling, and so you're a computer science major. That we have a faculty liaison in the computer science department that you could contact, and we have that list on our website. And you could just email them. You could tell them I gave them your name because I know all the faculty liaisons, and meet with them to talk about what research is like in that field and how you might apply, your major, that field, your field of interest to cancer, and who is doing specifically cancer research in that department. You can also contact Director of Undergraduate Studies in your department. When you go to the department sites, they'll tell you who the Director of Undergraduate Studies. They know a lot too, and they can help you with faculty and how to get involved. We also have about 25 student ambassadors that apply to be a student ambassador in our office. And basically what they want to do is they want to talk to students that are interested. And we have several biology, several chemistry, and many of them are pre-med, which I'm assuming many of you are pre-med that are interested in cancer medicine. And so if you're more interested in talking to a student, all of these students are already doing research. And so they could talk to you about how they got involved in research, what it's like to be doing research in cancer. I'll just give you a student perspective rather than a faculty perspective. And then I always suggest that you connect with your professors and graduate students. Go to their office hours. Professors would love it if you went to their office hours and you said, tell me about your research and how you got involved in research, rather than let me talk to you about this grade I made on my test. Faculty love to talk about their research, and it's a great way to kind of get a feel for what research is like in that field. And I suggest you do this with all of your professors, not just the professors that are in science. Talk to your English professors, talk to your history professors, and learn about what research is like outside the field as well. And you can also talk to the graduate students that are associated with your class, because they're the ones that are actually doing the research. Most faculty are not doing the actual research. They're writing papers, writing grants, as the graduate students are. And they're younger, they're closer to your age, and they can talk to you about their path and why they chose graduate school maybe rather than med school or going out and getting a job. So do talk to your graduate students as well. And then you can meet with someone from our office. We do one-on-one meetings. Right now they're by Zoom. And you're always welcome to meet with one of us in the office as well, and point you into lots of good resources that we have. And then engage in faculty. So how would you start really engaging? Once you've identified a faculty that you're interested in or an area that you're interested in, then you may want to do mentored research with that. And you can do research. There are kind of 3 ways you can do research. You can do it volunteer, you can do it paid, or you can do it for credit once you're engaged. Most students start volunteer to kind of see if it's a good fit. You know, is this lab, is this faculty, is this group a good fit for me? And am I truly interested in it? Then most students will do it for credit. And you can do, these are research intensive courses. They're called 395, Chem 395, Bio 395, and you can get credit for that. And sometimes you can get paid. In the med school, you're more likely to get paid than if you are in a lab in the undergraduate, like in the biology or chemistry department, because the med school has more money. That may not be true now in the current situation, economic situation, but there are paid research projects as well. So that is an option. You can also apply for funding through our office. We have 2 types of funding that you can apply for. We have the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, or the SURF, and that is you get $3,000 to do research in the summer. And the Summer Award for Research Intensive courses, I have slides for both of these that I want to talk to you about, so I'm going to move forward with those. So the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, it supports undergraduate students doing research in the summer. So you're doing an independent research project, but you're doing it under a faculty mentor. And so you work with that faculty mentor to develop your proposal, figure out what your project's going to be. It's not something you have to come up with all on your own. This is something you do with a faculty mentor and identify. And you receive $3,000 to do that research during the summer, and that is money to you. And the idea is that it pays for your room and board while you're doing your research in the summer. And in general, we give 60 to 70 of these each year. And it's to do nine weeks of research, a minimum of 9 weeks of research at 20 hours a week. So you can take classes. You can have another part-time job if you have to, because it just requires at least 20 hours a week. The deadline for these proposals are February 1st, and there's lots of information on our website. And I also have SURF info sessions coming up that I'll go into a lot more detail about how you apply. And you can look on our website. I have 2 of those coming up in October that I'll be doing by Zoom. And then the other is Summer Award for Research Intensive courses. So in general, most students, when they're doing research in the summer, they will do it volunteer, or they'll get paid by their professor. They don't tend to want to do it for credit, because then you have to pay tuition. And so what we have developed is you can get credit for your summer research and get your course credit, a Bio 395 or a Chem 395, and we pay the tuition so that you don't have to pay the tuition. So we cover in-state, we don't cover out-of-state. You would have to, if you were an out-of-state student, you would have to pay the additional what is for out-of-state. But we pay in-state tuition for 3 credits of intensive course. And your faculty advisor, if you want to, really motivate a faculty to take you to do research in the summer and do this, they receive $1,000 for mentoring you. And the deadline for that is April 18th. So those are 2 types of funding that we have for doing research that come out of our office. And both of them are for summer research, to support summer research. And once you've engaged in research, you want to consider applying or participating in the Carolina Research Scholars Program. And what this is you fulfill a series of requirements and you receive a transcript designation. And I'm going to go through a little bit more the research requirements on those. This didn't come out. So you have to take 1 introductory research course, and that's for 3 credits, or a course that comes out of our office. We have 2 courses that are 1 credit courses called IDST 194 and IDST 184. I teach IDST 194, which is called Modes of Inquiry. And the kind of gist of it is that I have faculty across the disciplines come in and talk about how they got involved in research and their research. And so it's kind of an introductory to research methods, how to get involved in research, and lots of research across the discipline. 184 is the exact same course, but it's researchers outside of the university. So that's an option, taking those or any other kind of introductory research course. Then there's the research component. And that is that you have to do research. And there's a couple of ways you can fulfill the research. You can do 6 credits of the research intensive courses that I talked about, where a 395 or a course that has at least 50% of what's done in the course is research. Or you could do just 300 hours. So if all your research is volunteer, you're not doing it for credit because it just didn't fit in your schedule, or you didn't want to do that, you're just doing it all volunteer, you can do, that can count 300 hours of mentor research, or you can get any combination of these. You could do 1 research intensive course and 150 hours of mentored research. You can combine those. So introductory research course, actual research, and then professional development. And that involves attending at least 2 of our research workshops. And we offer a lot of workshops every semester. This semester, here's some examples. These are not all the workshops. We've done even more than these. Getting involved in research, which is going to be a lot of this, but I also have a faculty panel and a student panel that will talk to you. It's one of the few times that you really get to hear faculty talk about what they look for in students that come to them to do research with them. So it's one of, again, a few opportunities where you get to hear that from faculty. And I have 2 of those coming up this semester, one September 16th and one October 20th. This is not really relevant to you guys, but we do have finding research opportunities in the humanities, but you can always do your research outside your major field, and you might be interested in doing research in the humanities. How to find a research mentor. I'm going to have actual activities where you identify a mentor and you write an email, a practice email, and that's going to be September 28th. And then for those who are already involved in research, we have Academic Publishing 101, which we are doing with the Odom Institute on October 5th, where you can learn all about the process of publishing your research. And we have others. These are just a small example. You go to our website and you can register for any of our workshops, and you can see the other workshops that we're offering. And then the 4th requirement for the Carolina Research Scholars is you need to present your research. And this presenting of your research can be at a professional meeting. If your mentor can, send you to a professional meeting, that will count. Or you can present at our celebration of undergraduate research, which is April. So it's always in late April of each year. This past year, this was right after we had the shutdown. So we did go virtual, and we had 91, I have an A in there, but 91 posters. In 2019, we had 272 students present posters. This is a huge fun event. We had Ramses, you can see the picture there. We have food, we have giveaways. It's a lot of fun. And we want to encourage you as students to present your research. And you're also invited to come and just see other people's and give feedback on posters of other people's students, and just see what kind of research undergraduates are doing. It's a really fun event, and we hope that it will be live in April, but it may be virtual again as well. So the deadlines for the Carolina Research Scholars Program, for those of you who are doing research or considering doing research, are November 20th for this semester, February 20th for the spring transcripts, and July 20th for summer transcripts. And so once you complete all the requirements, there's an online application that you complete, and then that gets reviewed, and then the transcript designation occurs on your transcript. So it's something that you can start now if you want to start attending some of our workshops to learn how to get involved in research, or you can take one of those introductory courses, start exploring and seeing who you might want to work with. But once you get involved in research, I want to highly encourage you to apply for the Carolina Research Scholar transcript designation. And one of the handouts you're going to get is about this that you will hopefully get. So we are here to help. And so you can go to our website. It's really easy, OUR for Office Undergraduate Research.unc.edu. I say stop by my office sometime in your 4 years that you're here. Maybe you can stop by my office on the 3rd floor, or you can schedule a meeting with me. On the worksheets, the handouts that I gave you, it's very easy to schedule a meeting with me through Calendly. And that link is on that worksheet, but you can also go to OUR, and it's very easy for to see how you can make a meeting with me or anybody in our office. Or you can email me any questions. I'm bquimby@email.unc.edu. So that's my talk, and so I am more than happy to take questions if there are questions. Sloan, would you like to say maybe a little bit about, I don't know, I don't know, anything, your research, how you got involved in research?
Yeah, the SURF grant is fantastic. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use mine this summer because of circumstances. But I do get to do it this semester and through next year, since they did give me that option. And so you get $3,000. Typically, it's for living funds, but in my case, I'm actually using it for research supplies. That you design your own research program, you get it sponsored by your PI, and then you can do it on your own. And if you have enough information, or if you have enough to contribute to a paper, you might even get published as the lead author or as a co-author on someone else's work, which is awesome. Not a lot of undergraduates get that opportunity.
Simran, you want to say anything? You're taking my course right now, right? Oh, maybe she's not. I saw another person from my class too, if they want to say anything about IDST 194. If anybody wants to ask questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
What would you recommend is the best way for undergrads to get a research position?
The most common way, I won't say the best way, the most common way is to identify 4 to 6 faculty that you think you're interested in working with and emailing them. And on our website, we have tips for writing an email, because they get 5 or 6 emails a week, and yours needs to stand out. So use our tips for writing an email. And I've asked students that have done this, I always ask them, well, how many faculty did you reach out to? And they always say somewhere between 4 and 6. So that's usually a good number. So that's the most common way. And the other thing I would say about emailing faculty is that if there is someone, especially if there's someone you're really interested in, sometimes it's the squeaky wheel. So email them again, but wait at least a week or 2 weeks, and don't wait more than 2 weeks to email them again. Because sometimes they know when you're persistent, they know, okay, they're really interested. But hopefully your email will stand out and make that happen as well. And if we were on campus, I would say, you know where their office is, someone you're really interested in, go knock on their door. That's the most common way. Probably the second most common way is seeing postings either on our database, or if you're at like listservs. Listservs from biology department has a great listserv where they send out research opportunity, and I know the chemistry department, I think, has either on their website or they do it on their listserv. So pay attention to the emails that you get from your department, the newsletters, because they'll have opportunities there. And then another common way is word of mouth, hearing from a friend. Oh, there's a position in our lab. So those are kind of the most common ways. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question. So when reaching out to professors or researchers on campus, what would you say is the best way to format our email or cover letter so that they know what
Look at our tips. Look at our tips for email. It's very detailed. I mean, it tells you what to put in the message line. It tells you, and I'll just give you a general, but definitely look at our tips. The first paragraph is about you, and don't make it too long. And faculty always say this, don't make it too long. But the first paragraph is about you and kind of in general why what you have, what's gotten you, why you're interested in research, and maybe what you might have to offer. And as the first year, it's fine. I mean, you're a UNC student. You have that to offer. And then the second paragraph is specifically why you're interested in their research. And that you don't have to read their papers. You go to their website, that's going to be enough. And you're not expected to know and be an expert, and to really you're not even expected to be able to talk about their research that well. You just are expected to show why you're interested in their research. Faculty say the most important thing is motivation. So you've got to say why you're interested in their research. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Thanks. I think somebody in the chat asked, are there any remote research opportunities for this semester?
There are. I know from the SERFs. So when we had our SERFs go this summer, well, we had about 27 of them. They all did their remote. And so they did they switched. When they wrote their proposals, they weren't thinking they were going to have to do it remote, but they were able to answer the same research question with remote tools. And then this semester, of course, most students are doing a mix of remote and in lab. So because they can't spend that much time in lab because the labs are at 50% right now. And so they're not having all their hours in lab, so they're doing remote. And I can tell you, faculty are thinking that way. Faculty are definitely thinking that way. I would say it would be challenging for anyone right now to be able to start research if they aren't already doing research this semester. I mean, that would be true whether we were on campus or not. If you're not doing research right now, you're exploring, you're starting to reach out to the faculty, and it may be that next semester, or even this semester, you start sitting in on their lab Zoom meetings. You're starting making those connections, but you wouldn't if you're not doing research right now, you wouldn't start anything till next semester. And faculty are thinking what can be done remote. And I can tell you a lot of that is computer. I've read all the SERFs. And so these were students that were not expecting to have to do computational stuff. But I can tell you in the biological sciences, you having those computational skills will help you no matter what. They will help you in med school. They will help you in grad school. They're going to help you. They knew nothing about doing computational stuff, but they learned it and they were able to learn it. It wasn't hard. They did statisticals with R. They did 3D modeling. And so they learned it and they did it. And so you might think, well, I can't do that kind of stuff because I don't know anything, but you can. And so you just need it. The faculty are thinking about it. And so yes, remote research is happening now, and a combination of remote and in-lab research is happening now. And I think that will continue in the spring. So hopefully that answers that person's question.
Dr. Quimby, this isn't a question, but I just wanted to, I'm in your IDST 194 class right now. And I wanted to tell other people that I think they should definitely take the course if you're interested in research. And I think it's really great to hear from multiple professors from different fields. And for my project, I enjoyed interviewing my professor from anthropology department, which is outside of my field. So I think it's definitely a good opportunity for students to take if they're interested in research.
And even if you're not, this is my 5th semester. I've only been at UNC for 3 years. I came from University of Maryland. I was a faculty in cell biology. My PhD's in molecular biology and genetics. I advise tons of pre-med students, so I have lots of information there. But I love it. I love hearing from faculty outside my field. We had this past week, we had a sports science lawyer. She does law, and it was fascinating. So I love hearing from the faculty. They're all good, and they're all suggested by students, because students know if they're going to be good speakers. I can look at their research and think, oh, that's really cool, but they can be very boring speakers. So all my speakers are suggested by the students. And we teach that every semester. We teach both of those courses every semester. So you can always take that. And that's 1 credit rather than 3 credits of an introductory research methods or research exposure course. So for the Carolina Research Scholars. So I think I've gone over my time, Sloan, because I was supposed to be 30 minutes. Unless there's a burning question, I'll sign off.
If that's all that everyone has, then just thank you so much for coming.
Yep, and thank you guys for having me. And please, I'd love for you when we get back to being on campus. My favorite thing is meeting with students and talking to students. I'd much rather do that than all the other administrative stuff I would do. So you're never interrupting me. I'd rather help you than all that other yucky stuff I have to do. So hope to meet you sometime and have a great year. And this too shall end. Stay safe out there.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Quimby.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Quimby, oh, okay, never mind. That's okay.